Throughout their careers, all fighters strive to keep their loss record at 0. While some welcome their first defeat, learn from their mistakes, and move forward, others, especially those who have built a long winning streak, view their first loss as a truly devastating event that impacts the rest of their career. Both of these scenarios can be attributed to the boxing destiny of the great Mike Tyson. For every fan of the sport, the career of Iron Mike evokes a vivid range of memories filled with victories, knockouts, scandals, and ultimately defeats. But most importantly, greatness. Since Iron Mike reached the peak of his career, more than one generation of heavyweight boxers has tried to mold themselves in his image, yet none have managed to fill the void he left in the honorable boxing ring. In the early stages of his career, Mike became a legend by crushing opponent after opponent, racking up incredible victories. But what goes up must come down, and in this video you'll witness how the unstoppable knockout machine, Iron Mike, had to take a step back in order to keep moving forward. Content. In February 1990, Tyson's abrupt winning streak was brutally halted. It was his 38th professional fight, and it was thought that no man on earth could give him a taste of his own medicine. But it was at this high point in his career that Mike met James "Buster" Douglas. At the time, Douglas was considered nothing more than a decent fighter, by many second-rate. By 1987, Douglas had already lost his chance to win the championship title against Tony Tucker. Very few doubted Tyson's ability to handle Douglas. When it came to betting, the odds were 45-1 in Mike's favor. Nonetheless, on February 11, 1990, in front of thousands of spectators who gathered at the Tokyo Dome to witness history, and with millions watching the fight live, the most sensational event in the golden history of boxing took place. Summary of the fight. Tyson began the fight with his usual aggressive style. He advanced, aiming to maintain a comfortable distance for his offense. However, Douglas stood out by not doubting himself in the face of the champion's violent onslaught. The challenger took on the fight with hard-hitting blows that noticeably neutralized Tyson's aggressive fury.
No cupcake. Keep in mind that Carl Williams looked pretty loose and relaxed against Tyson and
for Buster Douglas.
Named Mike Williams on the undercard of Tyson Spinks and floored him twice.
Gradually, Douglas abandoned his defensive stance and grew confident in throwing his own combinations.
See, Mike has to be careful also because
Tyson landing the jab again, and Mike.
By the second and third rounds, it became clear that this would be a tough fight for Tyson.
Films because he takes a move, he steps to his right, give a little angle.
Douglas giving as
opposed to the one big punch, and that's what Mike.
Another right hand lead lands for Douglas.
On the other hand, Douglas was delivering the fight of his life. Each round started with Tyson's active engagement, but with every passing round, his bursts of energy grew shorter. Tyson was increasingly putting himself in a difficult position.
That jeopardizes you, put you in a lot of trouble.
Douglas accurate with the left and a right by Douglas.
What's Douglas doing? He's not allowing Mike to
leap in behind the left hook. He landed that one. A man who does most of the talking in Tyson.
There was an
close to his mother. Right hand by Douglas.
Yes. Good left hook
Douglas
by
again.
In the fifth round, his struggles worsened after a precise punch from Douglas opened a serious cut above his eye.
Reputations, he has landed almost half of them. Now Tyson lands a jab. Tyson turned things around against Frank Bruno. Right hand by Douglas lands again. He's been very quick with it.
No, Mike, no.
Despite the injury and falling behind on the scorecards, Tyson still had a solid chance to claim victory. Douglas began to show noticeable fatigue midway through the scheduled rounds.
And another right hand uppercut left eye.
And that becomes a factor, especially for the very first time.
Be in an uproar right now.
Here.
During the eighth round, Tyson seized the moment to land one of his most iconic punches, a fearsome uppercut. Douglas fell to the canvas.
Here he's against the ropes. I've never seen.
And there's a right hand uppercut and down goes.
Though he managed to get up, he hadn't fully recovered from what could have been a knockout blow. The sound of the bell closing the round likely saved Douglas from defeat. Controversially, the referee's delayed count, partly due to reprimanding Tyson for not immediately returning to his corner, gave Douglas extra time to stand. To this day, Tyson supporters argue that he was robbed of a knockout victory, as replay evidence suggests Douglas was down for more than 10 seconds. However, during the break, Douglas recovered. Returning to the fight, Tyson appeared frustrated.
Until that knockdown. The left eye of Mike Tyson's.
Up the ropes, Mike would have gone down. Plenty of time. Tyson needs the ropes for support. Douglas wailing away. Without Mike Tyson was on the verge of going down.
The climactic moment came in the 10th round. Midway through the round, Douglas began to dominate, jabbing Tyson with ease. To the shock of millions of spectators, Tyson seemed unable to respond. Douglas unleashed a devastating right uppercut that stunned Tyson, followed by a relentless combination of punches that sent the champion to the canvas.
Just to try to get in the shot that will finish things in
the uppercut.
Fighter. Rolling willingly. What an uppercut by Douglas, and down goes Tyson.
The scene was unforgettable. Tyson struggled to rise, but he couldn't beat the 10 count. Even when he got to his feet, it was evident that Tyson had become the very thing he had defeated in so many of his own fights, a broken fighter. The referee declared the fight over, giving Douglas the victory by knockout. But this wasn't just any knockout, it was the most brutal of Tyson's career, marking the end of his undefeated streak. The once unstoppable knockout machine had been dismantled. To this day, that moment is remembered as one of the most sensational victories in boxing history. Reasons behind the defeat. This defeat was nothing more than the result of Tyson's frivolous attitude toward training and preparing himself properly to step into the honorable boxing ring. Perhaps believing himself invincible, Tyson lost focus and immersed himself in a lifestyle where partying was a constant, neglecting to keep his body and mind healthy enough to maintain the indestructible energy he was known for. For many, it was this irrational confidence in his invincibility that led him down the path of self-destruction. And when we consider the controversy surrounding Douglas's knockdown, it was evident that Tyson made poor decisions both inside and outside the ring. Douglas after the fight. Defeating a giant like Mike Tyson with such a devastating knockout only earned James "Buster" Douglas the status of being the next target for a series of fighters who had longed to claim one of the many titles Tyson defended. Despite defeating a true titan, Douglas proved he wasn't up to the challenge of holding the titles he had just claimed, losing them in his first defense against Evander Holyfield. Douglas could only boast of his titles until October 1990, when Evander reminded him that not everything that shines is gold, and that a true fighter isn't defined by his titles, but by his ability to defend them.
Heavyweight ranks.
While the events in Tokyo marked a before and after in Tyson's professional career, not everything was lost. His aura as the invincible fighter had dissipated, but he quickly started a winning streak that allowed him to reaffirm his position in the sport. The Beast, the knockout machine, the youngest heavyweight champion in history, was far from being lost to himself. Although this wasn't his first defeat or first scandal. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. Do you believe Tyson's victory was really stolen during that knockdown? At what point do you think Tyson let go of control of his destiny and handed it over to Douglas to do with him as he pleased? I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments.